Good morning. I'm Gary DeWaal, and this is Bridging the Week for October 31st, November 4th, and today is November 7th, 2016. Last week, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission published its highly anticipated supplemental notice of proposed rulemaking regarding regulation automated trading, initially released in November 2015. It contains new proposals regarding floor trader registration and who might be deemed a so-called AT person in an effort to reduce the number of persons that might be subject to the harshest of the proposal's requirements. However, the revised proposal also substantially broadens the concept of direct electronic access, indirectly subjects third-party algorithmic trading system providers to CFTC requirements, and still enables a CFTC to request an AT person's algorithmic trading source code through its inspection power in addition to its subpoena authority. Unrelatedly, beginning November 18th, a new Form 40 must be used by CFTC reportable traders and electronically filed for the first time. Last week was exciting because after 108 years, the Chicago Cubs again won the World Series. This week will be exciting because we finally will learn who will be the next U.S. president, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. So I can try to calm myself down in the face of so much excitement. Let's get started. On Friday, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission issued a supplemental notice, a proposed rulemaking regarding regulation automated trading, initially proposed during November 2015. Among other things, the new proposal attempts to reduce the number of persons potentially subject to Regulation AT's most onerous requirements to no more than 120 persons, to more fairly apportion the potential responsibility of AT persons and third-party algorithmic trading system providers for the trading systems such AT persons may use, and to provide heightened protection for algorithmic trading source code requested by the CFTC pursuant to its inspection authority. Among other things, in its initial proposal, the CFTC required risk controls for so-called algorithmic trading to be maintained at three levels: designated contract markets, futures commission merchants, and so-called AT persons. In its new proposal, the CFTC proposes that risk controls only be maintained at DCMs and either FCMs or AT persons, in effect only at two levels. Additionally, as first proposed, Regulation AT required the registration of persons as floor traders if they engage in so-called algorithmic trading for their own accounts through direct electronic access on a DCM, and they were not currently registered with the CFTC in any one of certain enumerated capacities. These capacities included an FCM, floor broker, swap dealer, major swap participant, commodity pool operator, commodity trading advisor, or introducing broker that engages in algorithmic trading on or subject to a DCM's rules. These registered persons were labeled AT persons under the CFTC's initially proposed requirements. This requirement is generally continued in the supplemental proposal. However, under the new proposal, the registration requirement would only apply to otherwise relevant non-registered persons if they, quote, traded, whatever that means, end of quote, 20,000 or more contracts in aggregate across all DCMs on an average daily basis during the prior 6-month counting period. These are January 1st to June 30th or July 1st through December 31st. This 20,000 contracts volume threshold would also apply to existing enumerated registrants who engage in qualified algorithmic trading. Such registrants would not be considered AT persons under the CFTC's revised proposal, and thus subject to most of Regulation AT's most onerous requirements, unless they exceeded the volume threshold test. Finally, in its November 2015 proposal, the CFTC required that all AT persons maintain their algorithmic trading source code in a special repository and be required to make such source code available, whether proprietary or third-party developed, to CFTC staff or staff of the U.S. Department of Justice upon request. In its revised proposal, the CFTC eliminates the requirement to maintain algorithmic trading source code in a special repository, but retains the ability of the CFTC to request source code either through a special call or a subpoena that it authorizes. Moreover, AT persons using third-party developed algorithmic trading systems would be obligated to produce the third-party source code themselves or cause the third party to produce such source code directly to the CFTC when requested by the Commission. An AT person would be ultimately responsible if the third-party source code was not produced. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There are a lot more requirements in the CFTC proposed new rules, and I discuss them and provide my views in the article version of Bridging the Week on the website. Check it out. The Securities and Exchange Commission filed an enforcement action in its administrative tribunal against Adrian Beamish, an audit partner at PricewaterhouseCoopers, for his alleged role in not acting on red flags and certifying as correct financial statements of Burrell Life Sciences Capital Fund 3 for 2009 through 2012. During this time, the fund, by Steve Burrell, its founder, paid millions of dollars to other companies Mr. Burrell owned and controlled to keep the companies afloat, to travel on family vacations, or for other unauthorized purposes. According to the SEC, Mr. Beamish failed adequately to follow up on bookkeeping characterizations that payments to Mr. Burrell's related companies were advances of future management fees, despite such fees being paid many months and in some cases years before such fees arguably would be earned. Among other things, the SEC seeks a determination temporarily or permanently barring Mr. Beamish from appearing or practicing before it as an accountant. And finally, beginning November 18th, firms controlling reportable positions in futures or swaps and subject to a special call by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission must file electronically a revised CFTC Form 40 or 40S with it. Persons are deemed to control a reportable position if they maintain positions or trade volumes in excess of enumerated threshold levels. Moreover, unlike now, reportable traders filing a new Form 40 will be under continuous obligation, quote, per direction in the special call, end of quote, to freshen information in a previously filed Form 40. It is not clear within what time such information must be updated. Moreover, there are many new concepts introduced in the new Form 40, some of which are not defined, and some of which seem practically incompatible with guidance previously provided by staff of the Division of Market Oversight in connection with a related form. Reportable or potential reportable traders should begin reviewing now the revised Form 40s to anticipate how they will respond to each question when asked and to review how they will file the revised Form 40 electronically beginning November 18th. Well, that's it for this week's edition of Bridging the Week. As always, there is more information in each article and more articles on the article version of Bridging the Week on the website. Check it out. I'm Gary DeWaal. Have a great week. If you're in the United States, don't forget to vote tomorrow. And until next edition of Bridging the Week, ciao.